going to be working on the interior of the E39. It's not really going to be a DIY, just an update of some little things I'm doing to bring the interior up to snuff. There are a few just small things that are bothering me, so I've got these 2 boxes of genuine BMW parts from ECS Tuning. I'm going to open those up, pull everything out, and go over what I bought. So as you may or may not be able to tell, I have a new set of guides for the sunroof, the little coin holder that goes just behind the shifter, new phone tray that goes on the center slider, a new dead pedal, and also with the new sliders comes a new seal sitting there in the back. Aside from this, I'm also going to be redoing the headliner, so I've got to order some of the material to redo everything. It should be a pretty simple process. I'll kind of go over a rough guide of how I'm going to do that, but I'll do that in another video. First one I'm going to install is the little cubby. It goes right here behind where your change goes or your ashtray. It's going to be a lot easier for me than it will be for the rest of you, because when I replace my center console here, when I replaced the wood trim, I went ahead and modified this to make it a lot easier to pop out, because I didn't want to have to take all this out again. Normally, to install this part, you're going to have to slide out your rear tray, move down the rear vents, remove this center section, remove the whole section, and pop it out from behind. So mine just pulls straight out. The new one will go back in. The thicker part goes at the top, and the door should open up. And then you can just slide it back in. With it fully seated, we're done. So that was pretty easy. Like I mentioned when I installed the little compartment up front, remove this section right here. I'm gonna grab this, I push up, and pull out. It should pop out relatively easy. You can then slide the vents down. It'll expose 2 Phillips head screws. And you'll just lift it up and out. So it hooks in the front and then screws in the back. So with this out of the car, we'll go over to the bench. I can install the new phone tray. So once we have the slider out of the car, we're just going to work through the action. Slide it all the way back, and it'll expose the 4 torque spits that we're going to need to get out. Remove the mechanism. And then here we have our phone tray right here. Looks like it just snaps into place. While I've got it out, I'm going to give this handle here a good clean. It slides back in the front and then pops into place. Brand new. And now that this looks so good, I feel like I kind of have to go back and try to replace this piece up front. But that's something for another day. I've got some protectant I'm going to spray on it. And just like that, we have a piece that looks almost brand new. So let's go put that back in the car. And just for those who are curious, if you do want to remove the center console so that you can replace the storage tray like I did, or the center section like I did, you've got 2 screws here. You have another screw that is underneath the hazard light. You'll start by removing the shifter boot, pop that up. You'll be able to pop the hazard light out with your finger. There's a screw there. These 2 screws here. Be very gentle. You've got connections to these 2 lights right here. You've got connections to the shifter. So there's a lot of things to disconnect. There's some great DIYs out there that I'll link in the description down below. Sometimes I'm a dumbass. I completely forgot what I ordered. I finally figured out what it was. This is not the seal for the sunroof. This is the seal that goes around the front windshield. If you have an E39, you probably know that this is deteriorated and gross and falling off by now if it hasn't been replaced. It doesn't seem to really affect how well this is sealed. I haven't had one for a while. I think it's just a trim piece to make it look nice. So I'm going to try and work my way through getting this installed. You'll see in the time lapse. It might be easy, might not. We'll see. I'll finish up with the trim piece that goes around the windshield. It was pretty easy to get in, especially with the soapy water. The problem you saw me having there at the beginning, when I eventually had to turn the time-lapse off, is I did not get all of the old seal out. So because it is deteriorated, you'll see some of it is going to be stuck down in the groove, and it's going to look like the paint because it's black. It might be a lot easier if your car is white or a lighter color, but to me it just looked like the paint. It was actually old part of a seal that was stuck to it. So I had to very carefully pry it off with a pry tool and get all of that peeled out. Once that was out, this took 5 minutes. I mean, it was nothing. A little bit of soapy water, press it into place. The top was a bit more difficult. So what I did was, once I got it started here, I would push in and just barely move. Not a whole lot of lateral movement as I pressed it in place. Whereas the sides, they just drop right in. I mean, the sides were a lot easier. I could press here and it would take care of like a 12-inch section of it. After 20 straight minutes of struggling, I finally got the new dead pedal in. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I looked up a DIY online and he made it sound so easy. I removed this panel that is over the pedals. There's a screw over here on the right, that little shiny spot. 3 across the top. And then there are 4 different points holding the dead pedal in. There is one little twist cap that is behind the hood release. There's a hood release screw. Then there is that screw up there in the middle. And there's also a little overlap between the 2 panels in the back corner. You have a bunch of different posts that are sticking out of the dead pedal that go into different holes that hold it into place and will support your weight when you press your foot down on it. It was just a bear to get in and out. Check the DIYs online. I just don't know what I was doing wrong. I finally got it in, and man, am I glad I'm never going to have to replace that again, because it was a bear. So all of that's in, so the windshield is done. The interior looks a lot better. You can see we've got all of that nice and neat. I'll get some interior shots in just a moment, but things are coming along. Next we got to jump on the sunroof. Got leaning over there on the Z, and we also have to do the headliner. So that's it for this video. We'll move on to the sunroof next time, and then after that we're going to do the headliner. But I love driving this car, and it's going to get even better with all these interior upgrades.